Good afternoon, Miss Neville Science students. Today we're going to start putting some of the knowledge that we've been learning for the last week and a half into action today. So as we're discussing the characteristics of organisms, remember an organism is any living thing. And there are 4 characteristics of all organisms. What we're going to be doing today is looking for or annotating a text to find those characteristics or examples of those characteristics. What you're going to have is a Schoology assignment where you're going to be asked to annotate a text for one of the 4 different characteristics of an organism: growth and development, reproduction, response to a stimuli, or collecting resources for energy. So today what I'm going to do in this lesson is really give you a practice run in how to annotate. Most of our lesson for today, our live lesson for today, will be practice with annotating. I encourage you to watch this lesson closely. There won't be many things for you to write down like notes, but you will be able to watch Miss Neville use a document camera with a worksheet so that you can see how to annotate a text. So I've got a really bad bruise on my hand. It's kind of embarrassing. So I'm going to hold it down here. So if you see it, I'm not hurt or anything. It's just a really gross bruise. So we're reading today about the American bison or buffalo. And what we're going to be doing when we're annotating a text, we want to just make sure that we're looking for and highlighting specific things. Today I'm going to be using 3 different marker colors, and each of those marker colors is going to highlight one of the characteristics of the American bison. You'll see what I'm doing as we get to work. My favorite color is pink, so I'm going to start with pink today. And at the top of my paper, I'm going to make a key. Okay? So that color pink is going to tell me I'm anywhere where I see an example of growth and development, I'm going to highlight it in pink. Anywhere where I see an example of reproduction, I'm going to highlight that in orange. And anywhere where I see an example of gathering resources for energy, I'm going to highlight that in yellow. Now, the great news is, because you're doing this on Schoology, you don't have to make your own key. Miss Neville's already told you what colors to highlight for which characteristics. So let's get to work. Follow along with Miss Neville as she reads. People often use the words bison and buffalo to mean the same animal. However, true buffalo are the Asian water buffalo and the African Cape buffalo. Their horns form huge sweeping curves. The American bison, the cousin of the European bison, have shorter horns. In addition, unlike buffalo, bison have the beards and use huge muscular humps on their shoulders. Still, although bison aren't buffalo, the two are related, like cousins. They belong to the same family of animals as cattle, or cows, goats, and sheep. Let's look closely for our first characteristic of an organism. Let's look closer at the American bison. Bison are the heaviest land animals in North America. Some bulls or male bison weigh 2,000 pounds. Ding, ding, ding. We see here it's talking about the heaviness of a bison. So that's talking about growth and development. So I'm going to find that sentence and I'm going to annotate or highlight that example of growth and development for the American bison. Very good. Okay? So as we continue to read, we're going to look down farther or further, and we see here that I'm highlighting in orange any example of reproduction. We see something here about the calves, okay, and the mother bison. But because this is talking about the weight and what they look like and their hair and body parts, this too is another example of growth and development. So remember, anything that I find, any examples of growth and development, my key tells me to highlight in pink, okay? So let's look at that last sentence there. And I think I'm going to be using my yellow, an example of gathering resources for energy. Read. So, bison are grazers, which means they prefer eating. Go to our second page. They prefer eating grasses. You see, I'm highlighting this yellow because this is an example of the bison gathering resources for energy. They also eat berries, sagebush, okay?